Hello, Stephanie Zima here. Okay, this week we are in 2024. Ooh, wow. New year, new goals. Everyone is excited, right? I hope you are excited. It's going to be amazing. Now, so many of you are so excited and you've set your goals just for them to be gone in 2 weeks of time because you're not following through with the goals. I know, I'm sorry, that sucks, right? I'm sorry, it sucks to have to share that news with you, but that is reality. That is what's happening. So many people are setting the goals and they're not following through, and I don't want you to be one of them. So here's what I'm going to share with you. These are the most recent reasons why people are not achieving their goals. And when you are aware of them, you can actually change the outcome, which is all I teach you, right? So there's a total of, what is it here, 10, 11, actually 11 reasons why people are not achieving their goals. And once you are aware of them, you are going to be able to combat them. You're going to be able to make different choices. And that means you are going to win. And that is my goal for you. Okay. If you don't know who I am Stephanie Zima. I am a transformation coach. I am a mentor. I help people conquer life's challenges, whether or not they are business related, personal relationship wise, or, healing your own self, right? From toxic environments, any of those kind of situations. That is what I help people with. Conquer your challenges in life, one person at a time. And, here we go. So, having said that, number one reason people are not achieving their goals is a lack of clarity. Lack of clarity is key. You are setting a lofty goal that you may not have really thought through. So you have to get really clear of what your next step is going to be. I hear this in business all the time. Set these big, hairy goals. What are you wanting to achieve? What do so people are setting these big goals and they're all excited because their mentor has said, yes, let's go, right? And they're all excited and then they're starting to work on it and they're not seeing the results and they start realizing like, oh, I can't do it. And it's because it's not your next step. So if you are somebody like me, right, I had to learn this the hard way because yes, I was like that the whole time. I was always having the drive, but I never achieved the goals and I couldn't understand why. It's because my brain was so thinking so big that I couldn't put in the action that it would require to get that big goal. And I wasn't there yet. It wasn't my next step. So what I needed to learn was how to figure out and gain clarity on what my next goal is. Okay. So let's say you are a visionary, you have a big, hairy goal, set it and then reverse engineer it all the way down to your very next step. By the way, that is what I deal with people in my mentorship programs. Like, so if you have trouble doing any of that stuff, that is where a coach comes in. Whether or not it's me or someone else, it doesn't matter. But that's where a coach comes in. They can tell you and help you to set those goals and figure out what your next step is going to be, right? That's a big difference between somebody who is going to counseling to someone who is choosing coaching as a solution for their problems, because coaches can actually help you put action steps into place and it helps you win in the long run. Okay, so lack of clarity, the counter action to that would be gain clarity. Okay, you have to become clear as to what it is that you are wanting and how you are going to get it. So don't be vague. Vague is no good. Number two, it is unrealistic expectations. People are setting simple, unrealistic expectations. What do you mean? Let's say you have a weight loss goal and you say you want to run a marathon. That is your big goal, right? You want to run a marathon. Well, you're going to set yourself 30 days to achieve that goal. Well, what do you think the outcome is going to be? Probably, if you're expecting to be training for a marathon in 30 days, that is not a realistic expectation, and you're setting yourself up for fail, and therefore you're going to lose out. You have to be first aware what it will take for you to actually achieve that. And then you have to become aware if you are even able and wanting to put in the action. So sometimes we're thinking we want a specific goal without having really taken the time to think through if we are able and willing to put in the action that it will take to get there. Okay, sounds good. The payoff sounds good, whether or not it's a business goal. Let's say you rank up, you are excited about this, but then at the same time, you're like, nah, I don't really want to put in the action to do that. Well, save yourself the agony of not even setting that goal if you have a different outlook, right? If you don't want to put the action in, your expectation need to be realistic. That is number 2. Number 3, poor planning. The reason why people are not achieving their goals is poor planning. You have to plan what exactly are my mile markers in between where I start to where I want to finish. What are my mile markers? What are the big in between points, right? Think about it as a roadmap. Okay, if you are sitting in Chicago and you're wanting to drive to the ocean, you need to figure out exactly where you're going to go, where you're going to drive, where are you going to stop for gas, where are you going to stop for food, where are you going to stop overnight. What are your mile markers? And in between, you need to set your guideposts, right? What are you going to do 2 hours into the trip? Are you going to sing songs? Are you going to listen to an audiobook? What are you going to do 3 hours into the trip, 4 hours, 5 hours into the trip? What do you need in between? Do you need a rain jacket or do you not? Is it going to be cold? Is it not going to be cold? Like, you have to get really clear on this and you have to plan these things out. Do you need a snack in between? Does it need to be refrigerated? What kind of drink do you need? Is there going to be a restaurant around where you're going to stop? Like, those are all the things that you need to also do for your goal in order for the goal to be effective. Number 4, insufficient motivation. People are not succeeding because they're not having enough motivation. Now, motivation has to come from inside. It has to be an intrinsic motivation, right? Intrinsic means inside. And how do you develop that? You ask yourself 7 times why. Why do you want to achieve that goal? You have to connect your goal with an emotional reason. Why do you want to achieve what you want to achieve? And then ask that same question 7 times why to really dig down deep into your emotional reason. That is the reason why you end up doing what you're wanting to do. Okay. So let's say if I want to say I'm going to lose 10 pounds, and just because I want to look like Sally Joe next door, then I probably won't put in the action. But if I say I want to lose 10 pounds because I'm going to die otherwise, because I have a heart disease or diabetes, I'm just making this up, just so you know. Then I am very likely to do this because I don't want to die. Okay. So you have to have a really good reason as to why you're doing what you're doing. Number 5 is a failure to prioritize. And moms, I get it. Okay. We have a hard time putting ourselves first. We have a hard time saying that we need to exercise. We need this time. We need to do this now. We need to hang on 1 second. I need to track my food first. I know we have a really hard time to do that sometimes. Or when you're working your online business, you're going to say like, I don't really have time. My husband wants also have time with me. But you need to prioritize. If that is important to you, come up with a family goal, come up with an idea that works for everyone involved, come up with a reward. So if, let's say, you do your action, the kids who waited patiently will also get a reward, or they will get a reward by being able to watch a specific show. Become creative on this, right? But you have to prioritize your goal in order for it to be happening. Number 6 would be inadequate resources. You don't really know what it's going to take. You don't really know what's going to take to make that goal happen. And that is the problem. You have to know the details, okay? You have to know what it will take for you to get there. Fear of failure is a big one. So many of us are not going for our goals because we are afraid that we're going to fail. Well, take the expectation that you are going to fail and just come up with a combat plan in your brain saying like, I know I'm going to fail, but I'm going to keep pursuing it just because I want to find out what happens if I don't quit. Okay. So come up with a strategy to combat that fear of failure. And again, if you have questions about it, drop them in the comments. Ask me. I am here to help you. Ask me all the questions. That is what I'm here for to do. Okay. Number 8 reason as to why people are not making their goals is a lack of accountability. Yep, it's don't have to answer to anybody. So your brain is going to try to cheat you out of things that you really want because it's a little bit uncomfortable. Change is always uncomfortable, right? That is number 9. People don't want to change. People don't want to make life different than it is right now because, it may feel like shit, but it's kind of comfortable, right? Feeling like that because the shed still is warm and cozy, and God knows if we're going to be eaten by the lion when we step out of the cave, right? Oh, I'm over exaggerating this. You have to just embrace change and say nothing is ever going to be the same. Okay, our whole body, think about this, our whole body changes every 7 years, right? Every single cell, everything, life is changed. We are changing over and over. It's just what it is. Embrace it. And then just become curious about your failure. Now, number 10 reason why people are not achieving their goals is burnout. And that is a real one. Burnout, especially from motherhood, especially from relationships, especially from a job, those things are real. Those feelings are real. And the way how you can combat burnout is by not overcommitting. First of all, that's the first one. And then you need to do them at a very tiny, small pace. Okay. So you have to make and break down your goals really, really in small, bite sized paces that you can actually feel good about. Like you can achieve it and feel good about it. And you can achieve it and you feel good about it. And slowly but surely, you can walk yourself out of that burnout mode, out of that burnout phase when you start tracking. Okay, and that is number 11 is the fact that people are having an inability to monitor their progress. You have to track your wins. I know, I get it. So many of us are wanting to not brag. We don't want to brag, but I'll tell you something. You have to brag. You have to brag about yourself. You have to remember your wins. What did you do good at today? What did you do good at today? And you do that so that you can actually track what made you feel good. You can combat your burnout and you can actually achieve your goals that way. And when you're afraid that you're going to be bragging and people are going to think bad things about you, just always know if you are somebody who's also lending someone else a hand and you clap when somebody else wins, you are not an egotistical person. You're not. Self care is important, right? If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. If you're not cheering for yourself, well, chances are not many people will because that's unfortunately humans right now. They are not necessarily always cheering. So pay attention to the people who are cheering for you because those are the people that are also winning. Okay. So everyone who's winning knows that you need to cheer. So if you are worried about other people's opinions, just remember opinions is like, everyone has one. So anyway, the people who are winning, they will always cheer for you and they will always lend you a hand and give you advice into how to take the next step. That's what I want to leave you with. I hope that you are going to crush it in 2024. If there's anything here that resonated with you, please do me a favor, share the video. Tag somebody in here that needs to see that. And if you need help with any of these points, if you need help in goal setting, if you need help with really making and turning your life around, overcoming and healing some of the trauma that you've gone through, or needing some help with reinvention, healthier lifestyle, any of those kind of transitional phases that have challenges, remember, that's what I do. I have mentorships available. I have coaching spots available at this time. They will fill up very fast. So you make sure you get in right now. It's time. New year, new you. Everything is going great. So let's set some goals together. Keep the accountability going up. And Let's go crush it. Okay?